Today, the Secretary of State, Antony Blinken, President Ursula von der Leyen from the European Commission, and Prime Minister Pashinyan met in Brussels to discuss the future relations with Armenia. The purpose of the meeting was to help focus on Armenia's economic diversification, its political reforms, and on humanitarian assistance. I'll set a little bit of the stage of the work that we did today, and then my colleague, Ambassador McKee, will describe some of the U.S. programs in support of specific areas of Armenia's development. The Secretary and President von der Leyen, High Representative Borrell, all began by emphasizing that we strongly support Armenia's independence, sovereignty, and territorial integrity. We also noted our admiration for the democratic transformation in Armenia since the 2018 Velvet Revolution. We've seen substantial reforms and efforts to build a global economy and a political system that will reflect the democratic aspirations of the people of Armenia. So our goal is to continue that. We also know that this meeting is happening in a context where there are ongoing efforts to reach a peace agreement between Armenia and Azerbaijan. This meeting was about reforms in Armenia, but we certainly encouraged Armenia to continue the path toward peace and try to achieve a final agreement with Azerbaijan. This is the best path for the region to have security over the long term and the development of prosperity, particularly new trading routes that could run from the Mediterranean into Central Asia. So we welcome all of those steps. The Secretary emphasized that progress in political reforms create the conditions for an inclusive government that will respond to the will of its people and help with diversity and partnerships around the world. So we'll continue to support Armenia's reforms as we do that. In broad terms, as the Secretary said, in the past fiscal year, we provided $65 million in assistance. There's specific money that has gone into a variety of programs, both humanitarian and economic reform, and assistance as Armenia reforms its administrative structures and develops a strong future. In the meeting itself, I'll say just a word about participation in the meeting. As I mentioned, it was President von der Leyen, High Representative Borrell, Prime Minister Pashinyan, Secretary Blinken, and Administrator Samantha Power from USAID. It was important to all of them that they meet together in person. This allowed for a very open exchange of views about the issues facing Armenia and the role that greater cooperation and support from the United States and the European Union can provide in delivering that assistance. There are many examples of this assistance. We're happy to go into some of them, but they're thematically grouped around, again, the diversification of the Armenian economy, political reforms within Armenia, and humanitarian assistance. Armenia has undertaken a huge responsibility of assisting with a number of new entrants between those who came after the war of Russia's unjustified invasion of Ukraine in 2022 and the 100,000 who moved from last fall from Nagorno-Karabakh. And we understand that in a country the size of Armenia, this requires support from friends to help with those people's integration, the peaceful right of return, if that's what they so choose, but also for Armenia to be able to provide the kind of life that people deserve and want in a democratic, prosperous society. With that, I'm going to pause, and Aaron, I'll suggest maybe you can provide some detail on the points and then on the programs that we have, and then we'll pick up some questions.